Hello, friends, and welcome to Self-Mastery. Today, we are going to talk about the book, How to Live on 24 Hours a Day by Arnold Bennett. In all our lives, there is one thing that everyone has in equal measure, and that is time. No one can buy more of it, save it up, or even borrow it from someone else. Every human being has 24 hours in a day, not a minute more, not a second less. Arnold Bennett emphasizes this point very strongly at the beginning of his book, How to Live on 24 Hours a Day. He says that time is the one resource that both the richest and the poorest person receive equally. The only difference lies in how one utilizes this time. Think about it. Even if someone has a vast amount of money, they still cannot buy back a single past hour of their life. Even a CEO or a prime minister has only 24 hours in a day, just like you and me. This may sound simple, but it is the most powerful truth. Bennett tries to make us understand that we must value our time because it is the one thing that silently slips away without us even noticing. Often we say, I don't have time, but the truth is we do have time. We just haven't learned to use it properly. For instance, when spending money, we think about where to invest it. In the same way, we should think about our time. But the problem is, time isn't visible. It can't be held, so we take it lightly. However, once we realize that every minute has its own value, we start to avoid wasting it. Bennett says that time should be respected, just as we respect money or other valuable things. If someone gave us $100 every day and asked, how will you use this? We would spend it thoughtfully. But when it comes to time, we spend it scrolling, gossiping, or procrastinating without a second thought. This is the real loss, a loss that can never be recovered or repaid. Many people complain that they couldn't achieve anything in life, didn't get opportunities, or had bad luck. But Bennett argues that time management is more important than luck. Because if you dedicate just 1 or 2 hours of your day to self-improvement, such as reading, learning, or thinking, you will gradually become the person you want to be. Real success comes this way, not from some overnight miracle. Valuing time doesn't mean you have to be busy all the time. It means being aware of what you are doing with your time. Unconscious time spending is the biggest problem of our era, especially due to mobile phones and social media. We often pick up our phone for 5 minutes, but we don't even realize when an hour has passed. Bennett says that we should consciously allocate our time, meaning we should deliberately decide how much time to give to each task. If you are a working person, 8 to 9 hours of your day are spent at your job, but the 5 to 6 hours after that are yours. Bennett talks about these extra hours. He says this is the time that can make you extraordinary. Many people just rest, watch TV, or pass the time after work. But if you use this time wisely, it can change your life. You can learn a new skill, read a book, or work on your goals. Bennett highlights another important point. We should think about our time by breaking it into smaller parts. For example, 1 hour might seem long, but if you divide it into 4 15-minute segments, it suddenly feels manageable. And if you use each 15-minute block for something productive, it can make a big difference over time. Bennett gives a very relatable example. If you spend just 30 minutes every day on something meaningful, you will have invested 182 hours in a year. In that time, someone could learn a new language, write a book, or prepare for an exam. Now, if 30 minutes can be so powerful, imagine what an hour can do. Another reality of time is that it is unstoppable. Whether you want it to or not, it will not stop. So Bennett says, don't race against time. Instead, flow with it consciously. Ask yourself a simple question every day. Am I spending my time where I should be? If the answer is yes, you are on the right path. If not, some reflection is needed. Another way to understand the value of time is to visualize it. Imagine you receive $86,400 every morning, but whatever you don't spend by the end of the day disappears. In the same way, you have 86,400 seconds every day. What is gone will never come back. Would you want such a large sum to be spent without thought? Bennett's message is not just about productivity, it's about awareness and intentional living. When you understand the value of time, you start to avoid distractions. You begin to appreciate the small moments of life, like a meaningful conversation with a friend, revisiting an old hobby, or just sitting and thinking about yourself, all of which are possible only when you deliberately make time. To understand the value of time is to understand your own value. Bennett says that when you respect your time, you indirectly respect yourself because you acknowledge that your life, your growth, and your happiness are important. And all of this is possible only when you make proper use of your time. In today's world where everything from ads, apps, to reels is competing for our attention, understanding the value of time has become even more crucial. Bennett's book teaches us how to distance ourselves from modern distractions and fill our 24 hours with real purpose. And the best part is, it's not a difficult thing to do. It just requires a small shift in mindset. So the next time you're about to say, I don't have time, ask yourself honestly, do I really not have time, or have I wasted it on something else? This very question will bring you closer to your priorities. This is what Bennett wants, for us to use our time consciously, wisely, and lovingly, because the ultimate truth of life is this: you are what you do with your 24 hours. In Arnold Bennett's book, How to Live on 24 Hours a Day, a very important point is made about wasting time, which he calls the great sin. In his view, carelessly letting time slip away without any guilt is the biggest problem of our age. According to Bennett, this is not a small matter, but a silent crime that slowly hollows out a person's life. We often think of theft, lying, or betrayal as sins. But according to Bennett, if you waste your precious time on useless talk or without any purpose, you are committing a crime against yourself and, indirectly, against society. Because time is a resource you get only once, and if you ignore it, you are rejecting your own growth, your potential, and the value of your life. There are many habits in our daily lives that seem normal but silently consume our time. For example, reading every irrelevant news headline in the morning just because it's there, or spending 30 to 40 minutes gossiping over tea, which neither teaches you anything nor gives you any productive energy. Bennett says such habits are dangerous because we think they are harmless. But it's these small things that add up and steal our entire day. Think about it. If you waste just 2 hours every day on such aimless activities, you lose 14 hours in a week and 730 hours in a year, which is more than a month. And at the end of the year, when we wonder why we didn't achieve anything significant, the real reason is these wasted hours that we never even noticed. What's most striking about Bennett's writing is that he doesn't just point out the problem of wasting time, he also explains why modern man has come to see it as normal. He feels no guilt. Wasting time has become an accepted routine. We say, let's just pass some time, and slowly that passing time becomes passing our life away. It's a kind of illusion, a false comfort zone, where we think, what difference does wasting a little time make? But Bennett sharply states, it does make a difference, a very big one. Because when you waste a minute, you weaken a small part of your entire future. And when this happens repeatedly, your goals, your dreams, and your potential all remain unfulfilled. Bennett says that when someone wastes money, they feel sad, they feel like they've lost something, but we don't feel the same regret when we waste time because we think it will come back. The truth is, time never comes back. The hour you left empty is gone forever. Our daily routine has many moments that we spend mechanically without any thought or purpose. For example, sitting in front of the TV after returning from the office and watching something meaningless for hours, just changing channels, or scrolling on our mobile screen for no reason. Bennett calls this an unthinking routine, a life where a person becomes a slave to habit, not the master of their own mind. He says that this unthinking routine kills your creativity, suppresses your imagination, and, most dangerously, destroys your awareness. You just become a machine that wakes up, goes to work, eats and sleeps, without living a single moment where you truly feel that you are alive. Bennett's writing shakes you up. He shows you a mirror where you can ask yourself, am I also wasting my time just like this? And if the answer is yes, he also tells you what you can do about it. The first step is awareness. Until you recognize your time-wasting patterns, you cannot change them. Awareness means taking 10 to 15 minutes a day to ask yourself where you spent your time, which moments were productive, and which were wasted. Were those newspaper headlines really necessary? Was that 1-hour chat at the cafe a part of a meaningful connection, or just a distraction from boredom? Bennett's philosophy isn't about a strict or robotic life. He doesn't say you must work every second or only engage in hard labor. He talks about balance, but he wants every moment to be lived consciously, whether it's studying, reading a book, going for a walk, or listening to music. It should be done with your awareness, not just as a habitual reaction. Using time consciously doesn't mean living a boring life. It means experiencing life to the fullest. When you do something with awareness, it brings satisfaction and fulfillment. On the other hand, when you waste time without thinking, you slowly start to feel hollow inside, and this has become the most common ailment of modern man. Bennett gives us a gentle but firm warning. If we don't stop our time-wasting habits now, we will be left with only regrets in the future, and there is no greater burden than regret. But he also offers hope. If we start taking small steps from today, we can reclaim our time. His suggestion is simple. Reserve a small part of your day for yourself. It could be 30 minutes or an hour, where you learn something new, connect with yourself, or do something that helps your inner self to grow. This investment of time will gradually transform the rest of your day. Bennett says that greatness doesn't come in a day. It is built from the small decisions you make every day. And the quality of those decisions depends on how you use your time. Therefore, wasting time is not just a waste of time, it's a waste of your potential, your possibilities, and the richness of your life. Many people think that life is very complex, but Bennett gives a simple formula. Don't waste time, and you'll discover the real magic of life. This isn't a dramatic line, it's a tested truth. When you start respecting your 24 hours, life starts to give you respect back, in the form of opportunities, growth, and deep satisfaction. So the next time you're about to mindlessly pick up your mobile or spend an hour on an activity for no reason, pause and ask yourself, is this doing justice to my time? This pause, this question, can change your habits. And once your habits change, the entire direction of your life can change. This is Bennett's real message, and this is the first step to overcoming the great sin. In Arnold Bennett's book, How to Live on 24 Hours a Day, a very important and practical point is made. If you want to improve your life, you first need to focus on a small, simple thing, routine. It sounds very basic, but its impact is profound. A routine is not a restriction, it's a way to empower yourself. And Bennett says that if you just carve out a small portion of your day, say 90 minutes to 2 hours, that small step can bring about a big change in your life. This time will recharge your mental fitness, and you will feel clarity in your thoughts. If we apply Bennett's words to our daily lives, we won't just be spending life, we'll start living it actively. This whole process begins with training the mind, because a strong mind can handle any challenge calmly. Therefore, Bennett says, if you truly want a purposeful and fulfilling life, just managing your time is not enough. You have to train your mind as well. Otherwise, no matter how much time you save, if your mind is scattered, distracted, or lazy, you won't be able to use that time well. So maintaining mental clarity, depth, and sharpness is essential, and that comes from mental discipline. Now the question is, how does mental training happen? Bennett suggests 3 of the easiest and most effective ways: reading, thinking, and writing. All 3 are things that anyone, from any background, can do without spending much money or needing special opportunities. First, let's talk about reading. Bennett says that reading is not just a way to gain knowledge. It encourages your mind to think in new directions. When you read a good book, like a biography, a philosophical text, or a classic novel, you step out of your comfort zone, you encounter new ideas, you understand other people's lives, and you challenge your own thought patterns. This makes your mind flexible, expands your imagination, and sharpens your decision-making. But he also says that just reading anything is not mental training. If you are just reading random news or scattered content on social media every day, it doesn't train your mind, it makes it shallower. That's why he suggests curated reading. Choose your books thoughtfully and spend at least 30 minutes every day in deep reading. During this time, there should be no distractions. Your phone should be on silent, your mind alert, and your attention completely on the text. Next comes thinking, which is perhaps the most underrated habit. We think that everyone thinks, so what's special about it? But Bennett explains that conscious, deep thinking is an art, and it needs to be developed. Thinking means concentrating on a topic, looking at it from multiple angles and evaluating its pros and cons. Thinking is the skill that develops insight, prevents you from being impulsive, and makes you a thoughtful person. Bennett suggests that some time in the day should be reserved just for thinking. This isn't a huge process. You can think about a topic while walking or reflect on an idea from a book before you sleep. For example, if you read about discipline, ask yourself questions. Am I disciplined? Where do I tend to be lazy? Does discipline really bring freedom, or does it control you? Such questions bring clarity to your mind, and you rise above shallow thinking. Then comes writing, which is one of the most powerful ways to train the mind. Writing acts like a mirror. When you put your thoughts on paper, you realize how organized or scattered your thinking is and where there is room for improvement. Bennett sees writing as a mental discipline that shapes your thoughts and transforms your internal confusion into external clarity. Writing doesn't mean you have to become a writer or start a blog. It means practicing writing down your thoughts for a short time every day. It could be a journal where you write down your goals, fears, or the day's learnings. Or it could be a short reflection on a topic, like what is the true meaning of success? Or how can I become a better person? This kind of writing not only increases your clarity, but also builds your confidence. Bennett also understands that in the beginning, these three habits, reading, thinking, and writing, can feel a bit boring because our mind is already accustomed to a passive and distracted routine. But as you slowly build these habits, your mind becomes more responsive, alert, and active on a deeper level. Mental training isn't just about increasing your IQ, it's about better understanding yourself, your feelings, and your goals. When you are mentally trained, you don't get upset over small things, you use your energy in the right places, and you develop an inner stability. This gives you peace along with success. Bennett repeatedly emphasizes that the biggest problem of modern man is mental laziness. He is physically busy, socially active, but internally dull and confused. The only solution to this is daily mental discipline. Bennett believes that a person who invests 30 to 90 minutes every day in their mental development can get years ahead of others, regardless of their background. His idea is very inspiring because it doesn't depend on any external factors. Bennett's words are as relevant today as they were 100 years ago because distractions have increased and mental discipline has become even more essential. Imagine when you nourish your mind daily with good thoughts, deep thinking, and wisdom, a glow automatically appears in your personality. There is depth in your conversations, maturity in your decisions, and a silent confidence develops within you. All this doesn't come from any shortcut. It comes from the little bits of time you invest in yourself every day. If you think you are too late, Bennett's answer is simple. Never too late. He says your mind can grow at any age, at any stage, if you start giving it that nourishment. It's just important to start. Slowly, consistently. You can start a small routine today. 20 minutes of reading in the morning or at night, 10 minutes of thinking, and 10 minutes of writing something. These 40 minutes will slowly recharge your mental fitness, and you will feel the clarity in your thoughts yourself. In Bennett's words, one thing comes up again and again. Discipline builds freedom. When you train your mind at a fixed time every day, you gradually gain control over distractions, and your concentration power increases. Now the question arises, how to start a routine? Bennett's method is very simple and achievable. He says just start with 30 minutes. It's not necessary to create a whole schedule at once or make big changes. If you set aside just 30 minutes every morning or evening for reading, writing, or deep thinking, that small step can bring a big change in your life. Treat these 30 minutes as sacred time. No phone, no email, no social media during this time. Just you and your thoughts. And how you use these 30 minutes is also very important. Bennett himself values reading highly. You can read a classic novel, a thoughtful nonfiction book, or any text that expands your way of thinking. And if you don't want to read, you can write. Maintain a journal, clarify your thoughts, or write a reflection on a topic. And if you don't want to write either, then you can spend that time in deep thought. Ask yourself questions. Think about life. Gain clarity on your goals. A routine isn't just an activity. It's a commitment to self. When you do the same thing at the same time every day, your mind naturally gets used to that pattern. In the beginning, you might have to force yourself a little, but in a few days, it will become a part of your identity. And that's where the transformation begins. So friends, this was our book summary for today. Please let us know what you thought in the comments. And thank you for listening to the summary till the end.